Sairam. A message was posted uh, day before yesterday, uh, and devotees were requested to contemplate on that message. Uh, though no response has been received till now, still going ahead and giving a talk on that light. The talk is titled as God as Light and Joy. This is based on a talk lecture given by Parama hamsa yogananda. Wherever explanation has to be given further, especially for that particular message on why one is not able to see any other light of the sun, light of the moon, etc., as against the light of God. That requires more explanation, which has been given in addition to the talk given by the master. Quote, all nature is unreal. The supernatural is the only real substance. Today I was walking on the hermitage grounds, beholding the sunshine all around me. As I passed the stairway to the beach, I stopped and turned on the electric stair lights to see if they were working. But I could not see them, for as I stood there, the great light of God suddenly came and made it impossible to distinguish lesser lights. Even the sun I could not see at all. Vividly, I understood that neither the sunlight nor the electric light is real. Only true light is the light of God. If there should suddenly rise within the skies sunburst of 1,000 suns flooding earth with beams undeemed of unimagined, then might be that Holy One's majesty and radiance dreamed of. In that great vision, he showed me worlds upon worlds, endless manifestations of his light. Unquote. Now he has asked for two sadhakas following two paths. One is the bhakti path and one is the path of jnana. What does this line mean for them? So, let's see. This is further explanation, further to the lines of the Master Yogananda. What does this line mean for a bhakta? The bhakta, in advanced stage in his devotion for the Lord, experiences overflowing, all-pervading, whole soul love within him and without. He may be carrying out his duties in the world, live in the world, but the overpowering love in which he finds himself, in that all-pervading love, which is described here as light, the light of love, all other lights in the world, all other temptations in this world lose their strength, and they have all merged and dissolved in the all-pervading love of God that the bhakta experiences and lives in and as that love. Now for a sadhaka in the path of jnana, this will require detailed exposition or explanation. taking from the essence of various Upanishads, the Drishya Viveka, etc. Brahman as the self-illumined consciousness has been described in Atma Bodha, in Brihadaranyaka and various other Upanishads, in Avadhuta Gita, as supreme light. Brahman as lightning, Brahman as fire, all these from Brihadaranyaka Upanishads have already been taught and given in various Satsangh talks earlier. When a sadhaka in his intense nididhyasana on Brahman, on the Mahavakya Aham Brahmasmi or Tattvamasi, gets that glimpse of the ultimate experience, then what happens? He verily exists as that light, self-illumined consciousness, which is described in Upanishads thus. Kathopanishad says, everything shines after him. By his light, all this is lighted. Shveta Ashvatara Upanishad says, he shining, everything shines after him. By his light, all this is lighted. Mundaka Upanishad says that Brahman shines forth, vast, self-luminous, inconceivable, subtler than the subtle. He is far beyond what is far, and yet here very near at hand. Verily he dwells in the cave of the heart. In science, any sight of an object by a human being has been described thus. He is describing in a very short way, without getting into the details. What happens when one sees an object? The light rays reflect off an object and enter the eye, and through a process, the light rays reach retina in reverse way. The object reaches retina in the reverse way, and through a process in retina, the light waves entered get converted into electrical and chemical signals. And then further through a process, the brain flips the image right side up. It turns the reversed image as up in the right way, combines input from both eyes and computes shape, color, motion and depth. All these things happen at once. And then after the brain has converted and computed shape, color, motion, object, motion and depth, what happens? The science ends here. What happens further is explained only in Vedanta. Whatever has been configured by the brain, the reflected consciousness illumines sight by transforming raw, unconscious sensory data perceived, shaped up in the brain into subjective, recognizable experiences. Consciousness acts as the interpretive light that decodes the signals in the brain, allowing us to actually perceive and understand the world of objects. In the Advaita Vedanta, the mind is said to act like a mirror, pure consciousness. The fundamental, unchanging awareness shines upon the mind. This projects a reflection of consciousness, often called Chidabhasa. This reflected consciousness illumines the raw visual data being processed by the brain, allowing you to have a first-person awareness of what you are seeing. Up to that brain stage, it has to be understood that whether one is a jiva or a jivan mukta, even up to the level of reflected consciousness illumining the unconsciousness object figured out by the brain, up to that stage, exactly the same thing happens to a jiva and a jivan mukta when they see an object. Then what is the difference between a jiva and a jivan mukta? Thereafter, when their eye sees any object, any human being, anything that is absolutely attractive, anything that is glittering, even sight of the most beautiful woman in the world. See, only the sight has no relevance. After the sight, how it is carried to the mind and how subjective experience of the same is achieved is important. When the consciousness illumines the unconsciousness object shaped up in the brain. The consciousness illumining the sight in brain gives subjective experience to that object through past memories, past experience, past desire that the human being has had about the object. In human life, this light, there are so many lights related to objects. The light of various worldly pursuits and achievements, light of power, the light of possessions, light of relationships, light of position, light of all worldly achievements, light of knowledge through intellect, the light that is the intellect itself. In the case of a Jivan Mukta, there are no desires, no passion, no ego, no chitta, no ahankara, no memories of various kinds of experience, nor does he have a desire for any kind of objects. Though he sees an object, let's take the sight of a beautiful woman. Once the reflected consciousness illumines that object in the brain, thereafter that sight itself gets dissolved in the overpowering light of Brahman. All the worldly achievements, worldly lights, light of so many objects, so many humans, so many things described as various lights are within the creation. The creation itself, symbolized in the description of sunlight by the master, does not exist and is dissolved in the great light of consciousness, pure awareness that the Jivan Mukta exists as. The greatest and the grand revelation here is that state of a Jivan Mukta which is not dependent on what happens after consciousness illumines the brain, which has figured out the object. Instead of the past memories or past experiences combining with the reflected consciousness, giving a subjective experience of an object in the case of a jiva, the Jivan Mukta exists as the reflected consciousness itself. And as consciousness, he has no association with whatever object that get illumined by the consciousness. This is how Chinmaya describes in a Viveka Chudamani verse, where whatever happens to a Jivan Mukta or a Sthita Prajna, all of them enter his bosom and they get dissolved, they get merged into that consciousness which he verily exists as, the pure awareness that he verily exists as. Sun has no association with the creation illumined by it. Exactly in the same way, the Jivan Mukta, existing as the reflected consciousness itself, has no association with the objects illumined by that consciousness. It is not to be confused that the creation does not exist for a Jivan Mukta, or that he does not take up any activity in the creation. He does everything like a human being. But upon merger with pure consciousness, the creation with its various attractions of fame, power, possessions, relations, sight, beauty, etc., all these are unable to distract, disturb, create a ripple in the Jivan Mukta's existence as that river or ocean of consciousness, as the eternal light Atman. Now, how beautifully the sage's words stand validated in the light of our understanding. I understood that neither the sunlight nor the electrical light is real. Only the true light is the light of God. In the case of a Jivan Mukta, sunlight or electrical light stated by the master figuratively includes all sides, all objects illumined by him, the pure awareness. And the true light of God is he himself, existing as consciousness. Unquote. Quoting the master now. Egotism, pride, greed, anger, and other ugly outgrowths of self-centeredness are barriers to spiritual development, preventing man's escape from the misery of soul's ignorance. The right course is to follow the teachings of a spiritual master who has wisdom and who loves God above all else, and to tune in with the wishes of such a guru. That way leads to freedom. On one side of the path of life is the dark valley of ignorance, and on the other side the eternal light of wisdom. When you follow the guidance of a true guru, you will safely tread the road to freedom. Then everything that you wish for will be born of wisdom and will come to you without the slightest effort. I dare not even wish anyone anymore, for I know that whatever is in my mind will come to me. Unquote. All that one wants is attained by him, by a Jivan Mukta. All, everything, really. But what is the real thing that a devotee, a Jivan Mukta, wants, that he says that he will get or he has got? The answer is contained in the next line of the master. Quote, the true devotee says, Lord, I have no desires. I have found all that I want in you. No other gain can be greater. Possessing his wisdom, love, and joy of all desires of the heart are satisfied. That is a tremendous state. A true bhakta wants only God and he attains God, and after that he desires nothing else. When you are united with Spirit, you are the king, a king of quietude and bliss, fully satisfied and complete within yourself. In your oneness with Him, you see the world standing before you, ready to do your bidding because God made man in His image. All those who find Him find also that His will in them fulfills their slightest command. God speaks only through His devotees. To the world, God speaks only through His enlightened devotees. Therefore, the wisest of all actions is to tune in with the will of a Guru who is sent to you by the Lord as a response to your soul's desire. By surrendering thyself to the Guru and by service to the Guru, like the sages, you would also realize the truth that the Guru will impart to you. One who loves God can never take pleasure in being a teacher. He knows that God is the only Guru. Such a Guru says, I feel as the dust at your feet. This I say out of realization of the mighty Spirit I behold in everything in your creation, O God. I was to have gone from this earth a long time ago. I would like to melt, these are the wordings of the Guru. I would like to melt this body in the divine flame and burn the dross, so that the body is no more a part of me that appears separate from the infinite. One day I shall be gone, but so long as I live on the earth, my greatest pleasure is to tell those who tune in with my wishes and those who trust me that only thing I want is to interest them in that light which has given me the consolation and freedom and assurance indescribable, the light of all lights beyond darkness. Pray only to know God. Don't yearn for human love, because it will vanish. Behind human love is the spiritual love of God. Seek that. Don't pray for home or money or for love or friendship. Don't pray for anything of this world. Enjoy only what the world gives you. All else leads to delusion. Unquote. All human relationships all of them are selfish based. Actually, we never love anyone as such. We love ourselves. And we think we love others, but we actually love the completion we find in ourselves, the satisfaction we find in ourselves when we are in their company. When they go away from us, or when there is a break in such relationships, the pain is unbearable because we realize we will never get to feel that completion in ourselves while being with them now, because they are no more with us now. All expectations from everyone, everything in this world must end. We should only be belonging to God. Unquote. Man has come on earth solely to learn to know God. He is here for no other reason. This is the true message of the Lord. To all those who seek and love Him, He tells of that great life where there is no pain, no old age, no war, no death. Only eternal assurance. In that life, nothing is destroyed. There is only ineffable happiness that will never grow stale, a happiness which always is new. So that is why it is worthwhile to seek God and only God. All those who sincerely seek Him will surely find Him. Those who want to love the Lord and yearn to enter His kingdom, and those who sincerely wish in their hearts to know Him will find Him. You must have an ever-increasing desire for Him day and night. He will acknowledge your love by fulfilling His promise to you throughout eternity, and you shall know joy and happiness which is unending. All is light, all is joy, all is peace, all is love, and He is all. Jai Sai Ram.